Kind of strange how I missed that sound.
Everybody does.
Everybody does. Yeah. It's the year 2025.
Hey, 2025! 2023.
No,
it's not.
My bad.
bro, you
Hold
can't
on.
live in the past.
You're right.
1995, here we are.
2015. Here we go. 2015, guys. Here we go.
Everybody go. Yeah,
2015.
there we go.
Sorry,
There we go.
dude.
First clink of
2015.
2025, 2015, 2022, whatever we want to.
Bro, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling
Bro.
22,
25.
25.
2025.
Actually, you're
5.
26.
So are you?
I'm
Valid.
21.
He is 21.
I'm
Ryan just had a
5
birthday.
half, 26 and a half.
Happy birthday, Ryan. Happy
birthday, Ryan.
late birthday.
When was it? Today? Yesterday?
He won't tell you.
Classified.
Oh my god.
Very few people know his birthday.
I hate that.
Also, nice
that so
fidget
much.
toy right there, Kevin. Nice lens cap.
Thank you. I need it because I need something to fidget with.
I need something to fidget with. Bro, I'm wearing glasses. You can just reach over and just kind
Just
of
yoink.
Yeah, the whole time you're just yoink, yoink, yoink.
Wait, but no,
just-
then he's going to have
That
to
would've been a
reach
good
in front
idea.
of me, but then he's going to have to put his elbow in front of Travlyn.
Yeah.
And that's just going to be...
This is gonna be a very awkward episode if that were to happen.
Don't
I'll just
shoot
go
it.
like this and you slide him over when the
Yeah.
time is right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I just want to say this. Did you guys see the sunset today?
Yes. It was really
Absolutely beautiful.
Kind of.
pretty. You didn't see it?
I saw it yesterday. Yesterday it looked like the poster from La La Land, but today I was inside eating dinner, so
You
did miss it.
chose eating over.
It chose
looking-
nutrition.
It was a dinner. I got invited out to dinner, so
Oh, okay.
We're
solid.
like
Yeah, where'd you go eat?
I went to Outback Steakhouse with
Outback Steakhouse.
Yeah, Jamie Day and his wife
hate this guy.
We went to the
went
land
down
from
under.
Down under.
That's
Where
right.
the Roo's at?
Oh, they don't say that.
They don't?
Would you be surprised if I told you that none of us ate steak either?
What?
Well,
What did you
What'd
eat?
you get?
They have alpha gal. They have out right now,
Oh,
so they
right.
can't have the red meat. So I was like, I won't tempt them with a steak. So I got salmon. Phenomenal.
Oh, salmon.
Super
Phenomenal.
good.
Phenomenal. Salmon is fire. Man.
Wait, so
was
what is Alpha Gal?
It's that thing that you get like when a tick bites you, and then you can't
Yeah.
eat red meat, or you get sick, something like that.
Know a couple people who have it. It's not fun for them.
Yeah, I've heard it's not
Ticks
great.
just suck, dude. We had a previous guest who, he got really sick.
Yeah.
For a long time after getting bit by a tick.
Sure.
Yep.
And my grandma had the same thing. I think she might have had Alpha Gal.
Yeah, I hear that. I don't know how long it lasts. I think it's different for everybody.
It can last a lifetime for some
Sometimes a
people. For some
lifetime.
people, it goes off away pretty quickly. I don't
Yeah,
know
some
exactly
people,
the
I don't know.
science
They did
on
like a cleanse, and it was gone in like 6 years or something like
Yeah.
that.
Like a juice cleanse or like a
It's a great question. It's a
Travis,
great
like,
question.
I'm not the expert on Alpha
It's
Gal,
a great-
dude.
I wasn't
Sorry.
either of those people. Just overheard it on a conversation.
My bad.
I don't even know if I knew those
He's talking to
people.
all of us. Like,
No,
guys, I'm literally not the representative of Alpha Gal.
My sister has it,
Really?
but
shoot.
Isabella?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, she does.
Yeah.
I think she still has it. So
Unfortunate. Well, so new year, new coffee machine.
delicious coffee, by the
Yeah,
way.
I was gonna say I got the Breville Barista Express for Christmas, and for the first couple days, I just did not even want to touch it. I just wanted to look at it because it's
Yeah.
just so beautiful, and I just said,
Shiny.
Shiny. I said, I feel like if I use this, I'll break it. It feels like you're not supposed to make coffee with it. It feels like you're supposed to operate on a patient with it or something like that, because it feels like one of those things you'd see at a hospital. And
You gotta
Piece
put
of
on
medical
the rubber gloves
yeah.
and just be very gentle with.
as soon as you see the pressure gauge, you immediately think, will this thing explode if I do it wrong? You know?
I just hate the fact that you guys got one that's literally $700+, right? But every single time we go to any coffee shop, you'll see one that's like slightly bigger, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's just probably like $1,000, right?" It's like, nope.
No, those
No,
things are
that-
so expensive.
It costs as
How
much
much
as like a
are they?
freaking rocket or something. It's
It's
like 20
insane.
grand.
No, legit. We
Under 20 grand?
there's some that are under 20 grand. We go to this place called County Sunrise, and
Oh, I love County
Yeah,
Sunrise.
County Sunrise. Yeah, County Sunrise is amazing.
The 2-pound burrito? Come on.
Yes, County Sunrise. They have
Omelet is amazing.
Yeah. Shout out County Sunrise. We're so sad to see you go soon.
Breakfast
Sponsor
food.
us.
They're closing.
They are closing.
No
soon.
Never
way.
mind.
It's
I'm
so
sorry.
crazy.
I've only gotten to go once.
We
gotta go again.
went from literally in
Every
October,
Sunday.
every Sunday.
Unbelievable. I have to go.
No.
Yes, but
I'm going tomorrow. Forget about it.
yes.
No, you should.
I'm going tomorrow.
Anybody in the Lynchburg area, go and support County Sunrise before they close, please.
Yeah,
bro.
and eventually, hopefully, they'll reopen again or something.
No,
'cause-
seriously.
I hope so.
What was it about you were saying something about the machine?
Yeah, so they have those coffee machines, Bravas or something, Bravas. I forget what. No, not Breville. It's some Italian name, and those things are roughly $13,000 per.
Okay,
pop.
see, that's something I don't understand. And Travlyn, you can. I don't know if you'll be able to get this, but because you might just not be as chronically nerdy about cameras as say me and Caleb, and definitely Kevin. He knows more than anyone.
I hate that you said definitely, but continue.
But like, there's this principle in video where a lens can be $2,000 on one end, and then another one's $20,000, and really the returns are minimal.
Sure.
Pretty much. But how much better can coffee from a $20,000
more ways to get it out? Like, I mean, there's more spigots where the espresso comes down.
Is that what it's
I
down
think the quickness of it.
because
I think it must be
Starbucks.
Huh.
Starbucks is fine,
Yeah,
but how much does their equipment cost?
probably 40,000 or something like that. I mean, it's Starbucks.
That
They
just
have,
doesn't-
Well, especially for them, if you've got to be quick, then
yeah,
that's...
you gotta be.
Maybe
your
that's where the
equivalent,
price
so.
comes from because
The
it's
quickness.
like it's just quick.
How
it's
quickly do you
fast.
think they make a return on that? And that machine is
Oh.
then paid for.
And that probably in what, maybe
I
2
mean,
hours?
Starbucks or County Sunrise?
No, Starbucks.
County
2
yeah, yeah,
hours,
yeah.
maybe less. Probably
Just,
way less.
like,
Yeah.
So for a machine like that, then...
yeah,
I mean, there's like
that's
two,
chump change. For them.
There's
yeah.
two big coffee places. It's Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks.
I love a Dunkin' Donuts, me personally. But I know it's just so mid.
My favorite's the Muse.
The
I
Mu-
love going to the Muse.
Shout out to
the Muse, come on.
Coffee.
The Muse is awesome.
I did get a Muse sweatshirt actually the other week. I
love it.
Dude,
yeah.
why aren't you wearing it?
I'll wear it.
I mean,
I know.
They've been open since I was a little kid, too. It's probably one of the first coffee shops I ever went to
Yep.
really?
growing up, yeah.
I just would never known that.
Yeah, they've been open since 2008, I believe. Yeah, 2008. I
Yeah,
think.
it's got to be somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It might even be before that.
Maybe. Yeah, it's crazy.
To hold up a coffee shop for that long is actually wild.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, why do you say that? 2008's not that long ago. That was like 5 years ago.
That's yeah.
Yeah, 2015 was
like-
5 years ago.
1995 is calling, bro. Sorry.
It's like 13 years from now, 1995. Because it's 1995,
I
guys.
think I saw somewhere. It made me really. Man, I wish. I saw somewhere that said we're actually closer to 2050
Right.
than we are to 1990.
Right.
Which is so weird to me. I wasn't alive in the 90s, but the 90s for a long time just seemed like something that happened last week because I have an
Sure.
older sister and she was born in the 90s. And so it's not like a foreign time to me even though I wasn't alive, but 2050.
Yeah. I was
Man.
born in 98, so I got a little bit right on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that I remember a ton of it.
Baby Travlyn was just
Best time ever.
Yeah, party like it's
Outfits.
1998.
That's right. The outfits.
99, 98. Yeah.
The outfits.
Spectacular.
Do you know what's crazy?
Bring those
A
back.
fashionista.
I don't know if you just mentioned this, but can you believe that 2050 is closer to us than 2000 right now?
Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah.
What?
It is barely.
That is.
Right?
Isn't that crazy though?
Wait, no, but it's like.
It's
but-
by a couple days.
By a couple days.
still,
now.
that's
We're
not-
closer to 2050 than 2000.
Did you guys know that Pacific Rim occurred in 2025? Has anyone here seen Pacific
Yes.
I
I've
love
seen
Pacific
Thank
Rim.
you,
Yes.
thanks.
I've only seen it the once, but it was awesome.
Same. I watched it in 2012.
Guys watching movie, robot fight. Boom, robot fight. Yeah.
Two buddies got to control the same guy. Knock it out.
Yeah,
And they
let's
gotta
go.
fight giant lizards.
Who would you want to be your partner in that machine?
Dude, can we all for him podcast Pacific Rim
All for,
episode?
yeah. Me
Bro,
and Caleb get one machine.
No,
and you
imagine trying to clean up the audio from that. Just so traveling.
No, you just see Caleb talking. Just,
Just
We have to
All
ADR
in
everything.
post,
We just have to
everything,
ADR every single line of dialogue.
That's freaking wild.
Bring Travlyn back into the studio and
Future
just all right,
Kevin
record
would
into
not
this
like
mic
that.
right
Dude,
now.
are you
I'm
serious
ready
that
for
the
it.
movie took place in
Yeah.
2025?
Yep, it
That's
does.
insane.
So, guys, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was expecting when 2025 dawned. I was like, okay, we're about to get some mechs. That's about to
Pacific
happen.
Rim.
Pacific Rim
Didn't
is
happen.
around the corner.
There's a lot of water in that movie too. I don't know. Water in movies, big fan.
Yeah. Water movie equal water movie
plus
good.
movie
Yeah.
equals film.
Yeah, exactly.
Equals film.
That's true.
Cinema.
You ever
feel
seen
like-
you ever seen those games that like the elements you combine them together and you make a new element?
Yeah.
Talk about Minecraft.
Shut up, bro. No.
I know that was a little after your time.
It's like the pocket.
All for him,
Yeah.
or like all for Unk.
Look who's talking.
Look who's
bro.
talking, Mr. Host with the most years on his day.
Yo, it's crazy. He's older than me, so bro,
but I already
just
roasted
put the
him.
coffee back in the bag, bro. Just bring it.
I can't. I put it in your cup.
In the
Oh man.
He's already got dementia. He
Okay.
forgot.
I wanna.
man, Caleb.
I wanna
I'm gonna
segue.
roast you.
All right.
Let's freaking
Oh, good.
guess.
I wanna.
We
Let's
better
just introduce
there.
the guy.
Well, I
That's here.
want to ask first off. I want to ask. Obviously, it's a new year, 2025.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that we'll probably all get mechs because Pacific Rim was set in 2025.
Yeah,
Stoked about
that's so true.
Yeah, stoked about that.
On the
what
way, on the way.
what do we want the Lord to do in our lives this year? Because obviously it's a new year. A lot of us grew in our faith last year. What do we want to see the Lord do in our lives this year?
I think I really, really want to see the Lord provide breakthrough. But not only in my own life, but like in all my friends' lives and anybody close. Because
Yeah.
I think we were talking about this the other day. I think you had mentioned it, that 2024 was a super year for us for like preparation. It was,
Yeah, it was
big preparation.
Big prep year. Yeah.
And like I know we talked in private and whatnot, so I won't disclose anything. But like this year just feels like very much a lot of us, friends and close relatives or loved ones.
Acquaintances, yeah.
It's just big breakthrough, time
Yeah.
to soar type of thing.
I agree.
I can't wait to see that, and that's what I'm personally praying for.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I like to illustrate it like this. I feel like the Lord has given me a map, but it's a blank piece of paper. So rather than an actual map that's finished, it's just a blank piece of paper. And as I walk through this map, more of it will be revealed over time.
That's raw.
Kind of like when you play a video game and you're in a world and there's a map and it's unexplored. You don't know where everything is, but as you walk around that map, more stuff reveals itself. So I feel like that's kind of what the Lord he's given me, and maybe all of us, this blank map, and said, walk forward in faith, not by sight. You can't see what's going to happen, but here's a map that will be filled out as you trust me more and more. So
Yeah, that's it's actually weird that you say that because that's exactly what happens in Minecraft.
I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking about the mine. You mentioned Minecraft, and I was thinking about the map. I was like,
you
yeah,
just
it
pulled
does.
such a Marvel moment when there was something super serious being talked about, and then you just had to crack a joke.
It wasn't a joke. It's just a thing that's real. That's true.
Bro really hit him with the, guys, he's right behind me, isn't he? After I said that.
No, it's just I was really tuned into what you were saying,
Tuned into Minecraft streaming.
but then you said you're articulating it very well, and you're like, yeah, I
Thank
feel like
you.
the Lord has given me this map, and as I go along, more becomes clear to me, more is revealed. And I was
More
like,
is revealed.
that's Minecraft.
Yeah.
Like what you said too. Like it was the setup for me. It's like we got the layup. Here comes the slam dunk.
Yeah.
Boom. That's
Bring
how
the
it
plays.
feels.
References.
There was a lot that was
made
revealed
for
this
Yes.
past year.
Yes.
Tons of things.
Exactly.
And I feel like
Child.
not only that, it was like making up for lost time. All the time of like the years before. It's like, what's my thing for this year? I don't know. I feel like I fell behind. They all like I caught up on.
Yeah.
They all got caught up
Yep.
on over the past year. Now it's like, oh, sick. Now let's move forward again. Take a step forward. It was 3 steps back, and now we're 1 step forward again, and then we're a step forward again.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
this is gonna be a solid year.
I-
1995.
Yeah, and I mean that not to say you guys hear about that new movie Toy Story that's coming out?
Dude, yeah, apparently it's all like 3D computer
Yeah,
graphics
3D
stuff.
computer crazy.
Yeah, animated 3D thing. It's gonna
stop.
change
Whatever
the
happened
world.
to 2D?
The stop motion Toy Story movie, dude,
All-
amazing.
All that aside, I really I've been praying this year that the Lord genuinely surprises me with what he can do. I've been laying the desires of my heart, the things I aspire, the things I want to have at his feet, essentially, surrendering it all to him. I feel like last year, for me, was I was learning what it meant to walk in faith somewhat. This year, I want to completely walk in faith with the Lord. Put him first in everything I do, and then going from there, seeing where he guides me. You know, I have a lot of things that I want, desires I have, dreams, goals, ambitions, and I've talked to these guys about it. I've talked to you about it.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, if you put the Lord first, those things will come to you in his timing. And that's what I'm trying to stand on, is that. So, which is scary for me as a planner, because I'm a planner by nature. I like to get information, go into things. I mean, Kevin knows this, Ryan knows this, you know this. I like to have as much information as possible, go into things like that. But at the end of the day, that's not how the kingdom of God works. You're given not quite a ton of information, and he just says, hey, here's a little nugget. Trust me with this. Trust me with this thing. And that's what I'm really leaning into this year.
Absolutely. The trust is huge. And he's got something cooler than what you would put together under your best circumstances anyways.
Exactly.
So
believing
that is key.
His plan, not my own. So honestly, Ryan, what do you think about this year? What do you want the Lord to do in your life this year?
I think just kind of balance in life, because, you know, I loved last year because I got a lot of work done, but I also I don't feel like I put as much focus on my relationships with people and my relationship with God. I don't think that was, you know, the relationships was something I prioritized. And whenever I thought to myself, oh, you know, I'm kind of suffering in these areas, I was like, yeah, but let's keep working. Let's, you know, at the end of the tunnel, we'll get there. We'll figure that out.
Right.
But yeah, that's something I definitely want to improve upon, and it's something that I, you know, last year I wasn't really comfortable with addressing, but you know, now I can kind of say it, and I'm just like, yeah, no, it's something we got to work on. It's something we'll do.
And what about for you, Travlyn? What do you want the Lord to do in your life this year? I know we kind of talked about this a little bit in person, but what do you want to do
in 1995?
1995, the best year.
Just wait until 96, man.
I think it is. For me, I feel like the things that I've wanted for so long are going to start coming to fruition. There's so much good momentum happening.
Amen.
The big things that I continue to write for myself every year are still the same consistent things. And I think that they probably always will be. I got like a bunch of main things that are important. I think it was all about finding the order of them.
Yes.
First thing being my relationship with the Lord. Not just putting it like, okay, if I got 3 things on my list, I'll make sure I get around to this. Like, start there, because that dictates how the rest of everything else is moving forward. Yeah. So making sure that's at the forefront and not an afterthought is going to be important. Obviously, I want to continue working on the acting career. Yes. That's, you know, huge. I'm finally making the move to just outside of Atlanta, which I've been wanting to make for years. Yeah. So I'll be going in a couple months here. And I've been trying to get there for like 3 or 4 years. Because once COVID hit, I moved back from LA. It was like, we'll spend some time with the family. I got derailed a little bit, and now it's like, let's finally get there, even if we got to go by ourselves. And then working out in the gym, of course. Yeah. It's like, all right, cool.
This guy.
I got it. I just got to be more on it. You are so consistent with your 5-year things. I really aspire to have some consistency with that. My health took a turn this past year, too, because I had a parasite, and then I had a bunch of stomach issues. So that really...
Dude, I hate parasites.
Dude, I love the movie, but I didn't like...
Good movie.
The real ones. The real ones weren't great. So
not based on true.
Now that we're kind of more healthy, it's like we gotta. I want to see how much I can push myself again. I miss being an athlete. So with my lifestyle now, working on the computer and trying to push for these other things, I just gotta fit some time in to properly take care of myself.
Dude,
I want to see what
1 a.m. You might see us there.
How much is it per month?
It's not bad.
Shout out Elite 24/7 Fitness.
Yeah, big shout out.
All
for us.
How much is it?
What Ryan said.
30.
It's for
normal people, it is 60. For students, it is 45.
Okay, I still classify as a student. I haven't graduated yet.
See?
There we go.
I don't know if I will, but don't tell them that. at least.
Cut that out, future Kevin.
Or future Charles, though.
Future Charles.
Future Charles.
Oh no, future Kevin's dead and gone.
We
Future
fired
Kevin
the
moved away,
intern.
bro.
Thank God
Intern
Charles
fired.
is with us still.
Yes. Yeah. Shout out
Big
Charles.
shout out to
Brand.
Charles.
Dude, he's
Yeah,
here in
shout out Charles,
he's actually down in Atlanta right now doing like some super.
Is he?
He's
That's
at
what's up.
Passion. He's at Passion.
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah.
2025.
It's already here. I feel like the other one just happened.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, 24, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I could have sworn I saw people there,
Yeah.
and I was thinking, guys, am I having deja vu? Because I
Yeah.
swear this was yesterday.
Yeah. No,
by so
that's
quick.
crazy.
That Agnes Day moment just happened like 2 weeks ago. And I was like,
I can't believe the next one's already at that. That is crazy.
yeah.
Yep.
Time is blowing by, so there's no time to waste.
Exactly.
I've actually never been to Passion before.
Not
Me
everybody.
either. But I see it all the time, and I'm always like,
Maybe I'll go next year.
I can't
put it on
believe
the
Should go
list.
next year.
I never knew that they held it in Atlanta. Is it? Does it like rotate? where
Dude,
it
you're
goes?
from Georgia.
I think it's
no.
always been there. I think it's always been there.
I've never known.
I don't know if it's always been there.
That's
It's definitely
Maybe
been
it's
there the past
because
3 years.
I always avoid Atlanta like the plague in January because they used to put up like tons of decorations for Christmas.
Sure.
But then as soon as January hit in the South, January sucks because everything's dead. But
Yeah.
it's not that cold and there's no snow. So it doesn't look pretty and wintry.
Yeah.
It's just kind of lukewarm cold. And everything's dead, gray, and everybody's grumpy because Christmas is over. So I guess that's why I never knew.
Maybe that's why they needed you to be there. They need a smiling face like yours to be around.
Ryan's just,
Yeah. Ryan is a ray of sunshine.
bro, he-
Orion of sunshine. Let's cut that.
Me
one.
me when I'm in a make a really bad joke competition and my opponent is Kevin,
Yeah.
but I'm
Impossible
also
difficulty.
but I'm not far behind honestly because my jokes are really stupid too, so it's okay.
Mine are the
We're
only
running a
good
race with
ones.
each other.
Bro, we're
and
running
it's
a
like
marathon and
each
we're
of
tied
us-
to each other, and we literally the string is just doing back and forth, bro.
Am I
I
the
mean-
judge?
No,
Traveling's the
you're in third
audience.
place.
How am I in third place? I will not accept third place.
Third place.
I've made like so many
No,
jokes this afternoon.
Travlin has to be the least corny out of all of us. Bro.
Oh, wait till you get on a film set. Oh, bro is
Yeah, you see
hilarious.
it.
Bro is hilarious.
We have
on a
our
film set.
moments. We have our moments. It depends on how mean I have to be, really.
Yes.
Actually, I
What
don't
if you
think
have
that
to be
does
like
affect
super
it.
mean?
I don't know. Maybe it doesn't affect it. Maybe then I counteract it and I just come in full force with even more. Like, oh, I'm not bad.
I remember
Yes.
traveling. I remember more. I remember DPing a film with you.
Yeah.
And I remember you and I kind of had a clash moment. Do you remember that when we were trying to film?
Whose film was it?
It was Touched, the one we did with Ben Brown.
Sure.
Remember we had a clash moment where we were filming and we had the ladder and all that.
Yes.
And I said I want to do this shot this way, and you said no,
Oh
I want
my
to do it this
gosh,
way. And
you're
I remember, and you were so nice to me up until that one moment, and then I remember that.
I almost never.
know.
I've had my moments.
No,
but-
and I remember literally you came
Yeah.
over and we literally had a talk and we said, bro, what just happened to us? We love each other.
Yeah.
What just happened? So
we resolved it right then.
we
and there,
were-
right?
we resolved it right
we
then and
resolved
there.
It. Good,
So
good.
What's
working
happened
with
to us?
traveling is. I mean, it was probably what 2 a.m. in the morning at that point. It was. We were just.
because those 48-hour film projects. Like,
It was a
we're just
48-hour
going.
film festival.
So we're never
Yeah.
sleeping any.
We weren't
it was-
sleeping, and I mean, that's the thing. The fact though.
And the
that
AC, there was no AC.
it was so hot.
And it was so hot.
Oh my gosh, dude,
And
that
the
was.
box fan. And just,
Yup,
Is 48-hour shifts
Guys.
typical or something?
No,
it's
it was.
just like
It's a
a-
project.
it's-
Oh,
yeah,
competitions.
it's like a local festival.
Traveling and I have
Yeah.
done 2 of
Yeah.
them, and we'll honestly,
Yeah.
I would be down to do one
See,
this year.
I don't know.
so.
That
Oh,
sounds
me too.
horrible. That sounds
It's a
horrible.
blast.
I think
It's
I've only
so much
missed
fun.
this year in doing one since they started. I remember the first
Yeah.
year they did it in 2014. I was a junior in high school.
Yeah.
It was the first film thing I'd ever really done.
Yeah. No,
So I've
they're
done
a
them
That
blast.
was your
ever
first
since.
introduction, 48-hour
It
film
was.
festival.
It was.
Bro
It
was
was
thrown into the
interesting.
fire immediately.
It was like, dude, figure everything out. And it was just me and like one other friend too. So
Yeah.
we were like doing everything. We had no idea what we were doing, but we won Best Acting though. For,
Yes.
hey.
Yeah,
That's good.
Everybody got really good after the
Guys, you're
first
off
like 2
key.
years though.
Yeah.
I was clapping, and
Oh,
then like
yeah.
5 seconds later, you start clapping. Clap for traveling.
Sorry,
Why?
brain lag.
Well, I had a
Sorry.
brain injury, so
Bro, you're
my
so
memory is
inspirational.
bad.
I got the reverb.
It's getting better.
Yes, it's getting better. You remember my name sometimes. You'll go, "What's up?"
Duh.
White mocha.
White mocha guy.
White mocha.
Ginger man who likes coffee.
White chocolate Smith. That's- That's him.
Yeah.
All for him.
Guy from All for Him.
Guy from All for Him
At
podcast.
night, white mocha, and during the day, white chocolate Smith.
White Chocolate Smith, baby.
Yeah, that's on my office now.
The lore is
White
getting so
chocolate
deep.
Yeah,
for
white chocolate
mocha,
Smith.
man.
Fun fact, on my office door for the first couple weeks or couple months I worked at my job, it said Edit Suite because it used to be an edit suite.
Dude,
and they turned it into my office. So for a long time, everyone said, "What's up, Ed Suite?" And I'm just,
Dude, I was thinking we're
that's-
talking to Caleb Smith.
pretty
No,
sick.
we've
It
been
is
talking to
pretty
Ed
sick.
Sweet.
Ed Sweet.
yeah.
No,
I was
you
talking
could-
to Ed Suite. And
Oh
just-
my gosh,
love
Caleb!
that.
If you were ever
Like
like
John
a secret agent, you could totally go undercover as Ed Sweet.
Bro, I would
and
love
no
that.
one would know.
That's crazy, except everybody who just listened to this episode.
Oh, true. It's
Bro.
all right. Charles can cut it.
yeah,
Yeah,
Charles,
You can be. Yeah, just cut that out. Yeah, just cut me out or
Classified here.
add censorship. Just, yeah,
Hearing of this audio is prohibited.
yes. So
This
Travlyn,
audio will self-destruct
In 10
bro
seconds.
thinks we're in Mission Impossible.
You are Mr. Sweet.
Mr. Sweet.
All right, never letting that down now. So
Wake
white
up.
mocha, Ed Sweet.
That's just
So.
editing.
So, Travlyn, what I'd like to know is a little bit about your testimony because obviously working together and just I love you like a brother. You're an amazing guy.
Thank you. Likewise.
But obviously, I have seen so much progression in you when we first met, when we started working together.
Yeah.
I would love to know a little bit about your story and kind of how you came to Christ and how you kind of came to the point you are today. 'Cause
Sure.
I remember you were dealing with a lot when I first met. You had just come out of some things.
Yeah.
And I would love to know. more
There's
about
been
that.
there's been a lot for years, that's for sure. Like for I don't know, a solid 5 years.
Yeah.
There's been some serious demon battling happening. I think the biggest thing is I grew up in a Christian household.
Yes.
So I always grew up with that. I was always a believer, which I think made it tougher going through like experimental years in my lifetime. So when I went into college, I was like this perfect whatever kid, whatever, and had never really made any serious mistakes. Don't ask my mom though. But the hardest thing is probably that I just am addicted to adventure. Like there always has to be something. And so when I fell in love with acting, it's like, how can I be a better actor? It's like, go live your life and experience things. So I was like, okay, great. So I'm going to learn everything the hard way. Everything. What is it?
wow.
What does this look like? What does it look like to do this? What does cocaine smell like? It could be anything like that, which I don't recommend. There was a brief time that was a problem, but I mean, I've tried just about most things that there are. Not anything like terribly, terribly crazy, but it's like pornography, drugs, it could be anything. So like anything could become a problem for me. Alcohol was probably my biggest demon to battle. When a girl and I would split ways, relationships to me are very intentional. I've only had a few very serious relationships before, and they were all usually multi-year long things, and with the intention of getting married. So when things would go sour, for whatever reason, that would become a big issue, and then that would be where I'd have to watch out for. Okay, well, now that I've lost this, what am I going to use to cope or something like that? How can I fill my time so that I don't have to think about this? And that could lead to multiple different things. So like I moved across the country. Not all of it's bad, but it's like if you're in a place where it's like, okay, well, nothing matters right now. Maybe I'll come back around in the future. See, these are the moments where I wished I would have pushed into God and sought out some help with anybody instead of just kind of internalizing it, because the more I held on to it, eventually it would come out, and then everybody would know, and it would be under bad circumstances, usually. Like, I'm putting a hole through the wall, or I'm, I don't know, drinking was just kind of the biggest one. So I would drink a lot. I already had that, and then I had friends that liked to drink, so everywhere we went, even like when I went to LA, it's like every night there was an excuse to drink too. So it was justified. It's like this premiere is going on, or this friend wants to go hang out. So there was always somebody to like hang out with, to use it like an excuse to justify why I was doing it. But for me, I knew that I was just doing it to try and push these feelings away. So eventually that became an issue, and I needed to get away from that itself. So I'm proud to say that I've gotten away from anything like any of those things, and that has led to some serious growth. But When it comes to the testimony that I like to share, for one, sometimes it can be hard to bring those things up because you don't want some people to look at it and find some justification. Sometimes the most justification for something I found was through another believer. And it's like, okay, because they've been here in this place before, maybe I do have to go through this. I would say that you don't have to, just talk to people first and foremost. Yeah. If you have like this urge to like go and have, or that there's something you're struggling with, take it to somebody else first. And if you don't have anybody that's super close, there's plenty of places that are always open. I mean, AA meetings, I know it's funny to say, but like going into an AA meeting, that is a great place to meet people and to meet a lot of even Christ followers. Yeah. It's based in the Bible too, so you'll get reading time in there. It was almost like a Bible study. So after that, I just started going because I was like, okay, cool. Well, I don't have anybody else for Bible study. So it was like, just became my Bible study. So the Lord worked through a lot of really tough situations anyways, even though I knew that I was choosing them as almost an excuse to feel, but I ended up getting hurt in certain increments of my life and therefore hurting other people that were around me that either didn't want to see that or maybe that I was rude to. So I learned everything that I didn't want to do. And so that really pushed me into almost the only other corner I could find left, which was God. And then when I pushed into that, it absolutely changed everything. It was like, this is the only difference, and nothing else was appealing anymore. So it's like, I don't even need this alcohol, or I don't need this whatever, fill in the blank to fill the void. It was like, he really just took care of it. And I'm not even joking. The peace was instantaneous. So I just had a moment where I was actually in probably one of the worst places, of the time. I was drinking a lot that night, and I was super distraught about this girl that I had lost in my life who meant a lot to me, and I wasn't terribly great to. And when we decided we were going to work things out and then decided that wasn't probably the best idea, that hurt more than, I don't know, anything else I had felt at the time. But it was cool to see God come to me in such a vulnerable place there where there was nothing to do but to cry out. And I didn't even know what to cry out and ask for. But he clearly knew where my heart was at and where I needed to go. And things have been different since that day. It was about 2 years ago.
Dang, yes.
It was about 2 years ago that I felt like I really jumped in and started taking it seriously. And so every year on the date, I love seeing the smile on my face that I hadn't had in a while. And it was like, this is the day that God came to me. And it was like, oh man, well, now I got to put in the hard work. I'm ready to do this. I'm not joking. The motivation to be able to do that, sometimes you get like that spark of motivation and then you need to build building blocks. I'm saying still do that for sure. But it's amazing to see how much he's really kept the fire lit after so much time.
Yep.
Obviously, I'm still tempted in many cases, but it's amazing, and only thanks to him, how easy it is to deny any of these temptations and things like that, and how much cooler it is when you push into it. And the more consistently I'm pushing into him, the more I see just the fruits of that relationship, and it's like, wow. At this point in my life, I don't even think that there's anything that I'm wanting for at all. Like, he has answered every prayer that I ever had going years back.
Man.
So
I love that.
Just super grateful. I was thinking about it at the beginning of this year. I was like, my friends were like, well, don't say that. I'm like, well, I'm not superstitious. I know that things are as good as they've ever been in my life, and there's nothing I can even ask for. So now my prayer is just, thank you.
Yes.
Let's keep this up and keep pushing into people. So it feels cool to be in a place where I'm overflowing.
Yes.
With love and abundance for once. That's kind of awesome. And it's crazy for me because it feels completely undeserved, but it just is proof of his goodness in that way. So, hope that wasn't too long-winded. Sorry.
No.
I think it's interesting because I feel like when we experience loss or when we experience something that is, really bad in our lives, it can be so tempting to go back to those old habits that we had, those old things that were were keeping us from a relationship with Christ, and rather than pursue Christ in that moment when you lost something, whether it be a relationship or a job or finances or anything like that, anything on this earth that we desire and possess, we can easily just go, okay, you know what made me feel good temporarily was pornography. So I'm going to go back to that one thing that I know made me kind of feel good, even if it was only for a little bit,
right?
Rather than use that as, okay, God, what are you trying to teach me in this moment? What are you showing me? And God often uses loss to bring us closer to him, to restore things or bring us something even better, or even restore that thing that we lost just at a different time. So it's crazy to see when people go back and try things that they tried so hard to get away from, and rather than seeking Christ. And I mean, I myself am guilty of that in my life before. When things have been hard, I said, okay, this made me feel good. This one thing, it may go back to that, and then you immediately think, why did I do that?
Yeah, it feels awful.
It feels awful.
You feel sick after.
It's great in the moment, sure.
Yeah. But it also pushes off the healing. Like, you still have to go and
Exactly.
heal from those things. So
Exactly.
you're just temporary. Like, yeah, you might temporarily not be in that headspace, but you still have to come to terms with those things at some point.
Exactly.
And face them directly.
Exactly. And the Lord uses loss to bring us closer to Him.
Right.
I think 2024. I mean, recently I lost my grandfather, as I told you guys. I mean, they know, and it's okay. He's in heaven now, better place. But just last year was a lot of gain and also some temporary loss and all that. Just things I'm still working through right now, going into this year, and the Lord, rather than when these things happen, I have tried to seek after the Lord even more and say, okay, God, what are you trying to teach me? Diving into the Bible, getting involved at church, seeking counsel on things, not just falling back into things that only gave me temporary pleasure, but rather focus on the God of the universe who has things in store for my life. So the same for you in that way. So kudos to finally getting around to finding the Lord, realizing that. So, you guys have anything?
I love that it's like a gradual process too, because we're not made perfect, right? We are essentially especially nowadays, we're basically in like a broken society in a fallen world, and the main thing that we can do as Christ followers is seek holiness, and whether that be like enlisting into doing like read a bit of the Bible every single day, or what I started doing, because I've been trying to do like little baby steps in my own little things, because obviously I go through stuff too, like not as drastic as you were saying, Travlyn, honestly, because like I can't relate in that realm, but I can get a little glimpse, because like sometimes I go through things, and as a Christ follower, I just have to own up to it in my own relationship with God. And now I've even noticed that I think I need to dwell more in reading a verse a day, and just making sure I dwell in the verse instead of making believe. I bet other people can relate, where it's I'm reading 3 or 4 chapters a day, but am I really reading it, or am I just
going through the motions, just their words on a page?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing, and that's helping me with my gradual process of growing with the Lord, because we have those ups and downs, where we have the mountaintops and the valley moments, whether it's a season or it's a day in between. The gradualness is so special.
Right.
It's so special.
What keeps it exciting, if we figured it all out in just one day too, there was nothing else to work for. I mean, it'd be boring.
Also,
it wouldn't even be a relationship.
Yeah, we technically even, I've talked to a lot of people about this. If we didn't have moments where we just have to completely trust in Him and walk by faith and not by sight, would we really need God? I mean, would we really, other than, I mean, you could go, I believe in God. I believe that, someone created all this stuff. That you could still think that way, but would you really need a true relationship with Him? Would you really need that connection to Him with your heart that is so different than anything else? That moment where you can know, I can cry out to you, the God of the universe, and you're my friend. You're not just someone who created me, you're a friend, and you are ordaining my steps and my paths, and you are working behind the scenes in ways that we can't see yet. And that's where, when you're a kid, you have parents, and you don't really worry about anything, because you have parents who are guiding you in your steps, and you also go to your parents for advice and all that. If you didn't have parents as a kid, it would be very difficult for you to function, especially when you're a baby. I mean, you're a baby. So, just leaning on the Lord and trusting in Him and His plans, and walking in faith, not knowing, is one reason why we have a relationship with Him. Because, I mean, I can't even imagine walking through life not having some faith. Okay, God's working things out behind the scenes. If I wasn't a Christ follower, I don't know what I would do as
Sure.
a 26-year-old adult trying to work in this world and video production and the stress of things.
Which is a challenge on its own. The cool part too is like with the relationship with God is you start to see little aspects where you have like your own thing together. Like I've only really just over this past year or so been learning how to like hear his voice.
Me too.
And that's cool because it's, and I imagine it's different for everybody, but like for me, when I see something, it's like, this was personal to me and you showed me in a way that probably only I can take this in, and like learning how to hear his voice is such a cool thing.
Exactly.
And then it I don't know, like for me, it's like, cool, like let's go to the next thing. What else can I do? What else am I looking for here? And I don't know, it gets me excited to like dig into more and to figure out more and to it really makes it easier to trust when you start seeing some of those things. So that's been a super cool thing that I just have kind of figured out this last year. So super thankful for that. Super cool.
I know that. I mean, the way I think the Lord speaks to me is through people, honestly. Literally a specific example. The other day, and I might have told you about this, I told Charles and Ryan, or not Charles and Ryan, Kevin and Ryan. The other day I was having a conversation with my friend Charles Brandt. We all love him and know him.
Hi, Charles.
Hi, Charles. Yeah. And we were talking. It was a very deep conversation. And he said the words to me, one thing for you to be this year is ambitiously content. And I heard those words. And he told me the next day, we saw each other the next day, and I said, you told me those words. And he said, I don't remember saying that. And I said, well, I heard them. And then I went to get coffee with another friend that morning. And my friend said, Caleb, I think being ambitiously content is a good thing for you. And I said, what did you say? I said, ambitiously content?
Run that
Repeat
back.
that.
No, I literally said, what? And he said, ambitiously content. I never heard that word combination before, ever in my life. And literally Charles goes, that doesn't make sense to me. I said, it makes sense to me. Yeah. I understand it because I think I was the one who needed to hear it and to me, being ambitiously content is waiting with the Lord on what he has in store for you, while also being still with him, waiting with him, but also working towards those things that you want at the same time, but trusting that through the work that you're doing and through his guidance, you will eventually get those things, and putting him first in your life. And that was just the way he spoke to me. So literally, I told my stylist today, I said, I'm just trying to be ambitiously content this year. And she said, whoa, that is a crazy statement. That's insane. I'm going to literally use that for this year. So those words, honestly, will probably stick in the rest of my life. I think the Lord was literally speaking to me through people and through those words.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it when that
being
happens.
Ambitiously content. I think that's what I'm doing this year, but also still being driven and passionate and pursuing what I love and the things and the desires of my heart that are from the Lord.
Right. I think it's great for all us to hear too. Just those words. Especially in this industry.
The creative field where
You
everything
kind of have
moves.
to act a lot in faith.
You
where it's
really
like,
do.
where it's what you said, the whole sort of thing about wait and see upon the Lord and what he'll do, hearing his voice. But it's not so much just waiting like on like a physicality thing. Yeah. It's more like on a spiritual, emotional. I'm not trying to be anxious and see when something will happen or when something will come to fruition. Instead, in my physicality and going about life, I am actively pursuing my faith, knowing that the Lord, if he has something for me, I'm just going to try it and he's going to let everything else flourish.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But then in the passiveness, you just dwell, where you have moments where you're in your bed just praying a bit, or you kneel down and you just notice the Lord for a second, and then you learn to hear his voice like you're saying.
Yeah.
And you end up in those moments where you're noticing the ambitious content, which is cool because, I think that's special for you, Caleb. That's really good.
Yeah. And obviously that's to all my friends and acquaintances and anybody watching, is being ambitiously content is because I think in today we're so anxious to get everything in our timing.
Yeah.
And as difficult as it is, the Lord's timing is better than ours.
Sure.
Oh my
We
gosh.
have to, and that's so hard to understand from a human perspective, because we think, why can't we have it now?
Sure.
I feel ready. We don't know. we don't know.
I mean, if you don't have it now, then
Yeah,
not
we don't know.
That's something I always tell myself whenever I'm feeling like, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. Like, well, you don't have it right now, so it must not be in the cards right now.
Yeah.
There must be a reason why you don't have it. Whether it's something like you messed up on this thing, and he said, no, I'm gonna wait until you're ready for it, or if he already, it's not really about what you do, he just has it at another time later on.
Yeah.
So you have to trust that. I mean, it's kind of, another way of saying ambitiously content is when we're praying, we thank him for what he has given us, but we're also encouraged to ask him for other things.
Yes, precisely.
So, you're ambitious with what you ask the Lord because you're trusting that he will give it to you. But
Yes.
you're also thankful for the things that he has already given you.
Right.
Yes. And Travlyn, as an actor, how do you navigate the waiting period of waiting for roles, or maybe you don't get a role and you're just, why didn't I get that role? I felt like I did so good.
Sure.
Or how do you navigate that as an actor and also as a Christ follower?
There's a lot of things I think about when it happens. Usually it's like, well, if I'm not right for the role, somebody else is right for that role.
Right.
If we're telling stories and things here, I want people to get the best, and I understand that I'm just a piece of the puzzle. If I might have what it takes, but somebody just might be better suited for that. And usually when I go back and watch, I'm like, I'm glad they were in that position. It wasn't always that case, I'm learning, and I learn new things all the time as we go.
Right.
So it's I don't know. The other thing too is that I've been super blessed lately. I've not been hurting for projects for some time. Usually there's, like, if I can do 1 or 2 projects a year minimum, I'm happy, but usually, I've been blessed to be able to do quite a bit. And then if there is nothing, it's like, this is a time for me to create. I can create and continue sharing what I want to share about, directly from me. I love telling everybody else's stories, but I think if there's a downtime and there's a waiting period, maybe there's something that you can go out and say. So I think about that. I got to think about where I'm at too. Like, things have been so different, especially with the testimony. It's the same thing with the testimony. I was thinking about it because I knew you were going to ask about the testimony. But my testimony has changed, and it grows over time, and it consistently changes, and it will continue to change. And I will always have something new to add on to, and something that was difficult. Something, I don't know. This is a time of praise right now.
Yes.
So where I'm at right now will be totally different, potentially even for the advice that I would share for other actors.
Yeah.
But right now, if something's not meant to be, I worked so hard in this past year to learn how to trust. I didn't even only just figure it out, but now that I've been in for a couple months on legitimately trusting and not just asking for this.
Right.
Now, please make that happen. No. It's like, what does it really look like to trust somebody? It's like, okay, it's that he's Spider-Man, I'm falling off the bridge and he's going to grab me and we're going to swing to safety kind of a thing. Like,
Man.
maybe it's a bad metaphor, but it's like, that's where I'm picturing
I
that.
love Spider-Man.
Love Spider-Man too. Spider-Man is my favorite superhero.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
easy one, right? But
That's awesome.
yeah, I don't know. I could go off on the million rabbit trails.
Man, no, it is so cool to see in those periods of waiting. That's where you can really rely on the Lord, in those waiting seasons and trying to draw closer to Him.
Sure.
I have a lot of dreams and desires that I'm waiting on right now, and I've been saying, okay, God, how can I grow closer to you?
Right.
How can I chase and seek after you and just you and make no idols before you? I've been literally saying, Lord, search my heart.
Right.
If there are any idols, anything at all, whether that be wanting a relationship or, my career in video production or anything at all, even clothes. I mean, anything like that at all. Lord, search my heart and show me, reveal that to me. And
Right.
help me take back put you first in my life and have those things become second.
Right. Yeah, I've got something on that too, just to tag on is, I had to ask myself the reasons I was doing this, and I think that the reason, like, I'm ready to move to the next level. I only feel just now ready. I knew that there were some things on my docket that I didn't want to take with me as I moved to the next level as an actor.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think I would have been ready. I look back and it's like, oh, good, I wasn't ready. I needed these things, and I needed to push myself in this way and to learn how to trust. If I had started moving into the next phases of acting when I was just getting started and I wanted to just skyrocket immediately,
Yeah.
it would have been all for selfish reasons too. So there's a lot of things that are learned throughout time and through having to wait. And then the payoff is like way greater.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, I really had to actually work hard for this. And I had to work on not only this, but I had to work on all these other things, aspects of life as I was going through, that this just feels like the cherry on top.
Yeah.
Like, I got so many other things out of it working towards the career stuff that being able to act is almost just like the blessing that I get to do it then at that point. Because everything else was so intentional and moving in my life, and then how I interact with people and what I can do for them. That's the biggest thing. So it's like, what am I called to do? I'm called to love. Do I get to act? Absolutely. And I'm happy for as much time as I get to do for that. But if he was to swap it around and say, okay, that taught you what you needed to learn for this aspect of your life, now I'm going to push you here, I'd be ready to move on that in a heartbeat, I think, without any issue now at this point.
I love that.
And that's a cool place to be.
It's like it's releasing the idea of it like as an idol.
Yeah.
It's so good. I can relate to that too, because especially as a Christ follower, we kind of I don't know, for ambitious people, like you're describing a ton of this like in like an ambitious perspective, where I bet there's people out there that are listening or watching this that they are super honed in on this one dream that the Lord has given to them, and they almost place that dream in like an idol perspective.
Sure.
So they don't exist. Only the dream exists. So they forget how to be a human being that has to love other people. They have to forget how to sleep right. They forget how to wake up in the morning and actually say good morning to the person. Like, they forget all of these things because they're so honed in on, oh, the Lord has provided this dream. That's all I live for now.
Right.
And that's so wrong, because it's exactly what you're saying. It's the whole point of it is to be a Christ follower, where we love unto others. We exist as we are, right? We're a temple for the Holy Spirit to dwell into, right?
Yes.
And then
Yes.
out of that overflow is the talent, the skill that the Lord has given to us, which is in your realm, acting, in these guys' realm, video.
Sure.
Right? It's,
absolutely.
and people out there, whatever yours is, it's so special. And I think once the releasing of the idol happens, you literally see life in a whole different perspective, because then you notice that life is so much bigger than that just one dream. There's many dreams existing in the world all at the same time. And then it just so happens that some of our dreams collide with one another, and we help each other out and stuff.
Right.
As servants, you know?
It reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have read Matthew McConaughey's autobiography, Green Lights.
I haven't read it, but it sounds
fantastic.
very interesting. Yeah.
There's just this one moment I think of, I hope I explain it well, at least, where he's talking to somebody, I can't remember who, producer or somebody, it might have been his manager or his agent. And so he's really trying to get this role, and he's branching out, and the agent or manager, whoever it was, basically says to him, I think that you need to take a break. And he's like, what do you mean? Why? I'm like, right at the height, right at the peak time. And it's like, because you feel like you need it, and you shouldn't feel like you need this. And so then he took this time, reflected. He talks about this dream that he has about floating down the Amazon River and everything like that. So he takes all this time. He takes time off from acting, and then he floats down the river. And then when he comes back, he knows that he didn't need it. And now that it's something that he might want, but whether he gets it or not, like, it's for so long I lived in that place. Even when I heard that in the book, I was like, I don't like this part, because I do want it. I do need it. Yeah, I was called out in the moment. I was like, I need this.
No,
Yeah.
that's
But
great.
then
That's a mature. You learn to mature in that.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I gave it to God. I just gave that to God, and I was like, well, if this is the case, and maybe, who knows? Like, I was joking, like, well, then if this is what it takes, maybe push me in that way. And he totally did.
Yep.
And he taught me how to get through that. So once that became something relevant in my life, I was like, okay. So that's how I take everything now. I'll find something that's like, this is what we're going to work on. Let's give it up and spend 6 months or something on it and see where we get. And then I look back, and in retrospect, it's like, oh man, God was there that whole time. That was awesome. So it's super easy to see where he's doing things now, like on a daily basis, almost at this point. So
Man.
it's cool to say that, like, I had bad anxiety over the summer. I don't know what happened. Like, anxiety is gone. It almost is non-existent for me now, which is so strange, as growing up being like such an introverted, anxiety-ridden kid. That was extreme. And I don't know, to be on the complete opposite end of that, down to the bottom and back. I don't know. It's cool to be here. So I'm just happy to be here.
The Lord does things that only He can do. And brings us out there. I used to having really bad anxiety too about so many things, and while I'm definitely a cautious person, I try to think things through and all that. The Lord has released a lot of anxiety from my life, which is crazy, and He's allowed me to step into things that I sometimes feel like I'm not ready for this, Lord, or I don't feel ready, but I trust in You that You're doing it. Even the job I work, anything like that. The Lord has released me from a lot of stuff like that too. So that's amazing to hear.
It's a beautiful thing, the way He works.
How do you, so for me in video production and maybe for these guys too, I kind of see what I love people and I love to serve people, and I see what I get to do with cameras and stuff as a way to serve other people and love on other people.
Sure.
And in doing that way and just be there for people. I know it sounds strange, but at the end of the day, if I'm filming with somebody and then I get to do something for them, or I'm telling a story that sheds light on something that needs to be said, and a bunch of people watch that and they go, okay, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
How do you see acting as an act of servanthood that the Lord has given you an opportunity to do?
Yeah, it took me a long time to be able to answer that question, actually. I struggled with that for years. I was like, what do I even see this as being beneficial to other people? I was just so into it for me for so long that I couldn't answer that question for years. The way I see it now is that usually I get to have a conversation with so many people, and I think the reason I couldn't answer that question then was because I didn't know for myself why I didn't have that connection with God. I didn't have anything that I was fighting for. That was the only thing I liked, just for selfish reasons. But to have purpose in loving people, and for the only thing for me to be called to do is to love. I mean, every community, and so then it extends beyond just acting. Everywhere I go, I try and be a smiling face for everybody. I try and have a genuine conversation to see how they're really doing.
Yeah.
Acting for me is just getting to do that for money usually, and with a cool team of people that's working hard to tell a story. But it almost doesn't change between there and my real life anymore. Just you have to have a genuine connection, interaction. Acting itself, good acting at that, is nothing but truth. So you still bring out all the same things from yourself, just under different circumstances for a character.
Yeah.
So I want to be genuinely interested in the text. I want to be genuinely interested and be asking those questions when I'm there. If you're not, you can pretend, but I mean, it's just, I really saw the difference while I was at Liberty in the program, and just learning how to actually interact with them. And it's like we're having a real conversation. So I'm listening to you. I'm not, if I get past the point where I don't have to focus on my lines and I can take all of you in, I'm not worried about what I then look like at all, because it comes out naturally.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, great. So how do we build from there too? So there's a lot of different aspects that go into it, but the biggest thing for me, truth, just truth, 100% truth. How can I make this as real as possible and give myself as little to think about externally that I can? And so I get to serve by being genuinely interested and having a good conversation, something like this. Sometimes a lot of people don't have those conversations. For them to be able to have a conversation at all with anybody, regardless of where you're at, can sometimes push in a lot of positive ways. And I know that it works because I didn't really have to do very much, but it was very meaningful to other people. And they've come back and told me as such. I'm like, well, if that's all it takes, I can do that 100% of the time when I leave the house every day. And I should set a standard to do so. And so that's what I set for myself, yeah.
Wow.
I'm not perfect, but I'm not perfect for sure. I've gotten angry. I yelled at a gas station worker one time. It was crazy. And I felt so bad, I went back and apologized.
Like the next day, or did you?
I think it was the same day. It's been a while. I think it was the same day, and I went back and I was like, hey, I'm sorry, I was having a bad day. And then we had a great conversation, so it was like, it almost was worth it.
The Lord uses even those bad things
yeah.
to, I mean, it's again, I keep going back to it. It's just crazy how he works. He uses even those bad things for his good ultimately, and you're good, and all these things that you've been through over the years, dealing with trying all these drugs and alcohol and all these things, he has. How, I guess my question is, how have you seen him use those things in your life for good?
The beauty of it is that I'm not, because I get it, I'm out and about a lot. I like to travel around, not just for my namesake, but I just love being places and meeting new people. I've met and encountered already situations with certain people that have their own struggles, and it's like it's easy to talk to them from a good place as somebody who's already been there. So if I've already been in all these dark corners, then it's like, hey, I actually do understand. I don't even have to think that hard to put myself there. It's like I've been there and I've done that, and so every one of those types of people can kind of see, there is a good side to this. I can come out of this and I can find some truth in my life. And, obviously I try and push towards the Lord, but sometimes you only get one conversation. They're not super receptive of just like God in general, but that one little conversation. And then, you slip it in, I slip it in somewhere at the end, like, this is that. And then, I don't know, I have like, for a while, I kept around a bunch of little pocket Bibles with me, and I'd be able to hand it out. I'm like, hey, just, I don't know, simple, like just easy reading in here, maybe just a proverb a day or something, whatever fits your fancy. Maybe he'll reveal something to you.
I love that.
You're planting a seed, though.
You are
Literally.
planting a seed.
And I think that the seed is the most important part. I've looked back on people that I sometimes only had one interaction with at the time, and it only makes sense now. And it could be years later. Years later, they could be like, yeah, that really weird guy I met on the street who had all those problems, but then he had that little spark of this that makes sense to me now. I mean, it could be anything like that. I look back at all my stuff, and it was easy to piece everything together in retrospect because there were so many seeds planted from so many other wonderful people. So I know that he can do a lot with just one interaction, a ton. So that's why it's worth it for everyone. Like, I'm not going to skip anybody that I see. Like when it's pulling at me, it's like, we're doing it. We're doing it.
You can't underestimate the power of the seed because you'll never know where that seed is going to plant next. Kind of
exactly.
Like, not literally, but what I'm saying is like you plant a seed in somebody's life, you never know. Maybe a glimpse of that seed will be planted somewhere else, like maybe even by accident, and it's just like a ripple effect.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't believe in coincidence.
Right.
Sometimes I'll call stuff coincidence, but what I mean is I don't believe just in random chance or coincidence or anything like that. I believe that everything is ordained by God in some way, shape, or form. Whether that be you meet someone on the street, or you just run into a friend you haven't seen for a long time, or there's anything at all. I feel like the Lord uses all, whether big or small, it's all these little things that are intertwining your story and pushing you towards the things that he has for you and in store for you.
Right.
And it's just
I agree.
hard for me to comprehend.
We were talking at the coffee shop too, and I had mentioned the watch analogy like super briefly.
Yes.
How a lot of people look at it like God's just turning your cog on the watch, but they are actually all working together in some way, somehow.
That's raw.
Where's it? Like a big old gear watch.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Watches have been so prevalent lately. My buddy's been talking to me about building watches, so it's also been fresh.
Watches?
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. Actually.
Pretty intense. I don't know much about it, but he's been getting into it, and he's like, look at all this cool stuff.
I think watches just kind of because there's also there's a watch argument when it comes to proving the existence of God. I think watches are just probably some of the finest pieces of craftsmanship and just kind of are really a good parallel with how God relates to us, because if you look at the universe and everything, it's like a watch. It's all very fine-tuned.
Right.
Everything's placed exactly the way it needs to be, and in spite of the fact that it's a fallen world and bad things happen, the world still keeps spinning.
Right.
And just like the cog in a watch keeps turning and it keeps ticking. you know.
That's right.
That's amazing.
No, I love the watch analogy. It's sweet, and that is a sweet watch.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fossil sponsors.
So many sponsors
Every-
scheduled after.
Watch this
Every
episode.
time, every time we mention an ad or a company, I have to say, sponsor us.
Yes.
Hey, they should.
They should.
Yeah. Hey, we'll see. Lord
We'll see who the
willing.
first one's gonna be.
Lord
That's-
willing.
I'm excited.
I've been praying this year over the conversations that we have here. You know, and not just here, but also in general and with anybody we have. But
Yeah.
I pray that this year, any conversations that we have, whether it be recorded or not, are impacting for the kingdom
Right.
of God.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing, especially since getting baptized. It's funny you say planting those seeds or just seeing people or something. The Lord's just been dropping all these people into my life, whether it be old friends and I'm reconnecting with them and just or just suddenly I'll just meet someone new that I want to get coffee with and hang out with and become friends with. It's just crazy. He's dropping all these new people into my life, but also bringing old ones back and also just helping me just keep the friendships that I do have and preserve those. And it's just so interesting because that's just part of the big story that he's writing. And what that means is yet to be seen. But at the end of the day, I know the Lord's doing that for a reason.
I've been seeing that a lot too. Like I reconnected with Jamie today, and I hadn't seen him in like 2 years.
Yep.
Saw a guy that I was friends with in college at the coffee shop. We're gonna get lunch. A lot of reconnecting with different people. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I think I'm really excited about this year. Excited and scared at the same time. Because I've told these guys, I think I told you, most years of my life have been pretty predictable. In my mind, I predict them. I say, okay, I'm going to go into this year. I'm going to work. I'm going to hang out with some friends, and cool. That's my year. This is the first year I'm going into where I really just have no idea what's going to happen exactly, other than a very few couple of things. So,
except that you renewed your lease. You did do that.
Yeah. We need the that.
So you'll be in the sweet spot.
Yes, yeah. But I know I have to go to work.
Can we? Speaking of sweet, we should get Ed Sweet on the outside.
Yeah. Okay.
Ed Sweet.
Ed Sweet. Yeah.
But that's the beauty of life, dude.
Yeah.
Because I think life is so interesting. I've said this on other episodes with like the stupid Tarzan analogy that you end up going to a certain path in your life and you just swing along the vines and you never know what vine you're about to grab on. So you kind of just have to grab on and just go with the flow.
And you don't know if it's going to snap or if it's going to hold.
That's true too. But yeah, I think the journey of life is so awesome in that way because once you plan it out too much, you kind of
loses its spark.
Almost. Yeah, it's almost like hey Lord, this is my plan. Make it happen. Yeah. And it's like the Lord's plan is probably so much better than your freaking puny plan.
Oh, that,
It's just
that
it's
probably
like,
is.
It's
better.
like, you know what? I just want to work on this one thing. It's like, but I had this in mind for you. So like, when that when that little thing doesn't work out, just know that the big thing at the end, you're just remember that little thing didn't happen because that thing happened.
Yeah, and when you try and overplan it, and you try to tell God, hey, this is my plan. Let's make it happen, Chief. And when
that's wild.
I mean, that's how we are when we tell him, this is how I have it planned out.
Right.
We're acting like he's just the some crew member and we're the director. It's totally the opposite. He's the director. We're the ones who are making it happen or who are playing the part.
Yeah.
Like when we overplan things and then they don't go according to plan, we fall apart. But that's not how it was going to go anyway. So there really is no reason to fall apart. He's got a better idea in mind.
Love that.
Right.
Dang,
and
bro.
there we land the plane.
Whoa.
Well, I was going to say what you were saying. You said the year made you excited or scared, and I was.
Same time.
I don't remember what thing I was watching, but it was like those are the same thing, just depending on how you frame them in your mind. If you're scared, that's looking at the negative aspects that can come out of it, as opposed to being excited, which is looking at what can be gained from this. So they're the same emotion, just with a different frame of mind. And I thought that was a cool video that I saw. I don't remember where I saw it. Again, probably a lot of the stuff I see is from like Instagram Reels, but
my stylist literally said that to me.
Yeah.
Today.
No
she
kidding.
Told me that exact thing. She literally said the difference between being scared and being excited is on the meter is very small differences.
Yeah.
And I was just, what? That's crazy. So
Your
I think
ambitious contentment, man.
yes,
It is.
yes, embrace what's coming and the stuff that you don't know is coming.
Yeah.
And I've been praying that the Lord prepares me for those things.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the stupid Instagram reel, because you mentioned Instagram reel. I had seen something online. It's not stupid. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You mentioned it, but it reminded me that there was some quote. An interviewer was asking somebody, and he was like, "Oh, what's something that you feel like is inspiring that like you use as motivation?" And it was something along the lines of, you always see a bird land on a branch, right? But when the branch breaks, do you ever see the bird fall?
I like that one.
Man, if only I
So
had
like you gotta
wings.
kind of have to trust your wings type to just keep on pushing. No
The
matter
wings in
what.
this analogy being God, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like-
yes. Amen.
Look, it's like really high level IQ. I'm just making sure I got everything straight.
Right.
Oh that's right.
Yeah.
You got that.
That's actually really cool. I'd not seen that before.
Mm.
That's another thing. Sometimes I will be on Instagram, and this has happened a lot to me these past couple months too. Is just, especially these past couple weeks, I'll just see a reel that talks about a verse that I needed to see, or
Sure.
some biblical advice, or somebody talking about something that literally is pertaining to me, and I'm just sitting there thinking, what the heck?
Yeah.
I'm learning from.
Yeah, that's all God. Definitely not the
Yeah,
algorithm.
yeah, no, and it's funny. We
Pretty
can
much
say,
God is controlling the algorithm.
yeah, we can. Well, can I get some more likes, Lord? No. But no, it's funny because we look at
Ambitiously content strikes again.
ambitiously content. But we look at that and think, oh, it's just the algorithm. And I mean, while the algorithm is obviously in play, the Lord ordains those things through the algorithm.
Yeah.
Which is just, that's the way I believe it. Again, I don't believe in coincidence. I don't believe in random chance. I believe,
You're meant to take everything from your surroundings and use it for betterment anyways. So
Yes.
Oh,
if
yeah.
your surrounding is an
Yes.
Instagram reel, why not? You know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's a way a lot of us, our generation, gets information and things today, is from Instagram and so the Lord can use even the smallest things to tell us stuff, to speak to us. And again, he speaks to me through people, he speaks to me through stuff like that. And I just pray that he also continues to speak to me in ways that I can't even understand yet.
Yeah.
So whether through things that signage on the street or anything,
Sure.
it's any little thing that he speaks to me in that way. So,
Yeah.
in this year especially, and that's what I'm trying to do, is also draw closer to him, where I can hear his voice and really grow in him and understand what he wants me to do next, in my life with
Right.
things. So
And you've got to be able to discern it too, because
Yeah.
sometimes you'll, not to be like that guy, but sometimes you can be a little superstitious. I'm not saying you, I'm saying in general, like we end up being superstitious on a little sign, and then we're like, that was you, Lord, right? That was you telling me to just invest $3,000 in this thing and I'm already in debt, huh? Just go right ahead.
yeah,
But
you have to discern.
Oh,
You have
for
to
sure.
understand, and the Lord is not going to give you more than you are capable of. So you have to just trust in him and his voice, and you have to trust in the people around you too who tell you things. If you told me, I'm going to buy a $1 million house, and I would look at I would look at you and go, no, don't do that, Kevin.
It's because when I was driving, I saw the sun glare on my windshield and it looked like gold, and I was like, I think I'm made of gold. I must buy this house.
Dude, you have to. It's a sign.
It's a mansion for $1 million. I think I'm going to invest. And
Yeah.
I already have what? Not that to my name.
$200 in the bank.
I got $1. I got 1 million reasons why I don't have that money. That's
But 1 million reasons why I could have that house.
I have 30 reasons why I don't have that house in my bank account.
Let's start
Sorry.
off with the bank account.
That was not a phone call. That was an alarm.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Sorry.
Yo, was that the Lord telling you something?
Huh?
Was
No.
The Lord said he said, Caleb, this analogy is stupid, and just sets off
Bad
an alarm.
analogy.
Bad
No,
analogy.
terrible.
Dude, that's the sign.
That is the biggest thing.
Yeah,
the
crazy.
discernment for what is this or this, because I will psych myself out about some of those sometimes. too.
Yep.
But that's the best time to go and look up some verses pertaining to your situation.
Exactly. Man.
Which
That's
reminded
what-
me of, yeah.
Isn't that what Paul says calls testing the spirits? You know, basically going back into Scripture, examining to see if this sign is from the Lord or if you're reading just
Sure.
too much into
Yeah.
something.
Absolutely, yeah. And
And-
if you want that path to be cleared up and him to light the way, he just says to go into it. So,
Yep.
and it's so, like, there's almost no excuse for us nowadays.
We got
You can
66
go
bucks.
on Google and just say, here's my situation, find me verses that pertain.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
ChatGPT, generate to me the best way to cope through this situation and give me 5 verses.
Give me 5
I was kind
verses.
of hoping you'd
Oh,
rhyme
God.
throughout that whole thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not lyrical miracle on this one.
Man.
I'll ask ChatGPT to rhyme. It'll give me
You
something.
gonna ask ChatGPT to
I
edit
said a
this too?
hill as if
Yeah.
ChatGPT's like,
Man, no, I think also just again the Lord speaks through people. So listening to your friends, listening to the people around you, because when you surround yourself with people who are Christ-like and like-minded, and actually genuinely care about you,
Sure.
you know, your friends who care about you aren't gonna typically tell you to do something that's genuinely stupid or something that is against God's will.
Yeah.
And
and unless those people are not your friends.
Yeah.
If
Or
they
unless
don't,
they're
they're
canon
definitely
users.
not.
wow, bro.
God's telling him something about Canon users. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Why is my camera overheating?
No, but I agree. That's a really important standard, and I think that's why, even if like your friends, kind of fall through it, because I've been in situations where, not recently, but it's kind of a light's been shown on my quote unquote friends who weren't, my friends. I was able to go back to my family,
Yeah.
just be rooted in that.
Yeah.
So shout out, Mom, Dad, hi.
Shout out Mama and Papa Poss.
Me too. Shout out mom and dad too. I love my mom and dad.
Shout out
They're the
parents.
best.
Shout out.
Parents, guys, we all got them.
We got
all
them.
like them.
At least us four here.
At
all
least
got
us
it.
four
yes,
here.
Yes.
We got 'em.
Yes.
Parents are cool.
Parents are cool.
Parents
Love your
are
parents,
cool.
man.
Yeah. And,
Honor thy father and mother.
yeah. Well, I'm stoked about where things are going this year, and I know there's also going to be things that are hard that happen. That's
Yeah.
the thing, and there's going to be good things that we've been praying for and all that, but there's also going to be things that are hard that we didn't expect. Life's going to be curveballs, and that's where you continue to prepare. You surround yourself with good people. You look at a situation and think, okay, God, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? Why is this happening? What are you trying to teach me?
Yeah.
What are you trying to bring out of me in this moment? What are you preparing me for through this hardship? So 2025 is going to be a cool year.
It
I
is.
know. So I'm excited. I'm excited to embrace the unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys give yourself like a word? I don't know if you guys do this. I always give myself like a word
Oh
or like
my
a
gosh.
phrase at the beginning of the year. Did you guys do that?
You have the ambitiously
I
content.
think
I think you get- yeah.
That's
ambitiously
yours.
content.
Content.
If you
That's-
put a slash in there, it's the same. It's one word.
Mine is corny. We said this at church, but mine is corny. It was champion, but it's like champion for Christ. That's
Yes.
kind of mine right
Great.
now.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Liberty's thing, but genuinely, I feel that in
It can
my
be
ear.
your thing too.
yeah.
Dude, you got
Thanks, man.
Dude,
Yeah.
Just because it's trademarked doesn't mean you can't just take the TM
Yeah.
off of it in Photoshop.
How
Dude,
about-
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Photoshop, you can do anything.
How about you,
Yeah.
bro? You got
Definitely balance, kind of like just
Oh, yeah, you
looking
said
back
that.
at the beginning.
That's right. Yeah.
Balance is really something I need to, with God's help, figure that out. But
Yeah.
I think we're on our way.
That was my word last year.
Dang it, I gotta find a new one.
No, last
Oh,
year.
copy.
he trademarked it
Dude,
for
just give
last
me
year.
copy.
Back
Oh,
in
no, he lost
19
the copyright this year. You gotta.
Copyright.
Turned 100 years
Fine.
old.
I did. It's gone.
It's been 100 years.
I did the combo this year, anyways. It's not even just one. I did unapologetically me.
Dash.
That's hard.
Dash.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Dash.
That's a book title right there.
Some of my friends are just. I don't know. I don't know how to explain them to some of my family and friends. So I've always been saying they're just very unapologetically themselves. They will sing and do whatever they're gonna do, and you're not gonna tell them that they're not gonna do that just because that's what they do. And then they get around people, and I'm nervous at what my family or friends will think. But then they end up loving them, and I'm like, that's great. And I'm like, I need to be more of that because we've only got so much time. The years are blowing by, and I'm like, I will be gone soon. Not to be morbid, but it's like, I won't be here forever. And I don't want to look back and be like,
you've got to stop.
especially as ancient men, Caleb.
Yeah,
or
sounds
tall
right.
and
Oh
burning.
gosh, yeah.
No, it really is because I feel like 2023 was just here and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Now we're all the way in 2025.
I still feel like I'm like 19.
Yeah, I know. I still feel like high school wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Still
That
feel
was
like
over
I
3
was
years ago.
12.
I'm 12. I'm 10 years old.
Yeah.
I hit my head last year.
If I say that,
same.
do I have to pay taxes? Actually, I still feel like I'm 12.
No,
Oh,
it's-
never mind. You don't got to
See,
pay
there you
this
go.
year.
See, there you go. That's an easy way to get the IRS off your tail, man.
Yeah.
If
Actually,
you find a way to stop paying taxes, please tell me.
Yeah. Let me just go back. In time. Yeah.
That would be nice, but that's, I think that's one mystery science will never figure out. 'Cause that's just not how it's supposed to work.
Taxes.
No, it's time.
Oh, time.
Yeah, taxes, Caleb.
Yeah.
Taxes.
Those are the two things they say are for sure death and taxes, right?
Yeah, for sure, death and taxes. So, man, well, I'm really excited to see what I learned this year. What the Lord genuinely surprises all of us. And I've literally been praying for blessings on all my friends, acquaintances, family, but also that the Lord would prepare all of us for what's coming, the good things and the bad. We don't know what those are, but that's what I'm saying. So,
Right. That's wrong.
I actually want to close this out in prayer. I feel
Yep.
like that's a good way to end things. They are a great conversation we've had. So I'd like to go before the Lord now. Dear Jesus, I thank you for this day, God. I thank you for everybody who might be watching this or listening to this right now, Lord. I just pray for your hand over everybody that we know, friends, acquaintances, family, us four seated here, and those we don't know who are listening or watching or whatever, God. Lord, I just pray. I pray for them this year, God. I pray that you will find them where they are and do amazing things in their life this year, Lord. And if and when they go through hardship, God, you teach them a lesson through it. You help draw them closer to you, and you prepare them for something even greater than they thought. I pray this year, Lord, that you will surprise all of us with just how amazing you are and the things you can do through us and for us, Lord. I pray that this year will be a reaping of the harvest, Lord, of the seeds that were planted last year, God, in 2024. And I just pray again for blessings, Lord. I pray for good health. And I pray that we will all be ambitiously content, but also know when to sit still, God, and take action when we need to, Lord. Thank you for dying for us. Thank you for giving your life for us, Lord, and rising again, Lord, because we all need you, whether we know it or not, God. In your precious name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right,
beautiful.
boys, bring it in for one
Bring
last
it
good clink here. Cheers to the year 1995. I mean
1995.
1995.
Good year.
Cheers. Woo! And good coffee, of course. Good coffee, yeah. New
That's
machine.
not coffee.
Yeah, it's not coffee.
This wasn't coffee either. What the heck?
Wait, how did that
how
turn
did
blue?
how did it turn blue?
Guys, I just made a specialty coffee.
bro
Specialty
made
roast.
the Fortnite coffee.
Chug, chug.
Oh, it is. It does look like that.
So wait, hold on. Does this? Oh wow, the lore of the All for Him podcast is getting kind of confusing. We had future Kevin, now we have future Charles.